Gratitude. Here's my hot take on this amazing life skill that can help us thrive, or if used inappropriately, can come across as toxic positivity. So let me explain. I've trained myself to be grateful for at least three things as soon as I wake up in the morning. It could be a good night's sleep. If I didn't sleep well, at least a nice mattress, a pillow, air conditioning, safe space. The list is endless, right? Gratitude helps me shift perspective from noticing what's wrong in my life to noticing everything that is going well, things that are aligning in my favor. It helps me feel like I am supported. I am loved. There is a higher power. The universe is always conspiring in my favor. And it's like a form of reverence. It helps me appreciate life and relish everything that exists. Now, when you're going through an acute loss or grief and someone comes and tells you to be grateful, it can really feel very painful. It can feel like it's a cruel form of distracting yourself from the pain of loss and grief that you're actually going through, disrespecting those uncomfortable feelings, which will get suppressed and repressed and present later in the form of anger or disease. So my friend just went through a hysterectomy for a cancer scare and for fibroids. And someone was like, be grateful that you didn't have cancer, be grateful you're alive. And she's like, I'm going through this acute sense of void and loss and grief, and you're telling me to be grateful? That's almost cruel. And I agree, because when I went through the worst of my long COVID and I couldn't breathe or move easily, people were like, be grateful that you're alive. So many doctors lost their life on the front lines in COVID because of long COVID, and you're one of those survivors where, you need to be grateful. Well, my life turned 180 degrees and I couldn't really function. So what kind of life was it really, So those kind of things are important to be aware of, because gratitude can be a way of living life a lot more intentionally with purpose and awareness. But hopefully we don't shove it down someone's throat when they're going through feelings of pain and loss and grief, because we are uncomfortable with their loss. So let's be aware of how we're using gratitude in our day-to-day life. And I'm curious to know what your experience with gratitude has been.